Forgiveness is not, oh, well, I'm just going to turn the other cheek and let them kill me or something. Turn the other cheek was about an internal, I'm not going to choose vengeance. So I'd rather turn the other cheek than hit someone back. It didn't mean you had to turn the other cheek and let someone smash the other one, but better do that than carry unforgiveness and bitterness. That's what Jesus was saying. Yeah, people again take it literally. Oh, go away and turn the other cheek and let someone hit the other one. Rather do that than carry bitterness, which is toxic to your whole life. That's what Jesus was saying there. But actually, in reality, it is better to do that than to be destroyed inwardly. But ultimately, you've got to outwork the reality of it in practice. And when I've forgiven someone, if they still are operating in the same way, I don't have to open up my life to that person again. I can be free from that person. I don't have to open up my life to that person again and let them do it again. Doesn't mean I haven't forgiven them, but I'm not stupid. And I think we don't need to be gullible as Christians and expect just because I've forgiven someone that the other person is going to change. And if the other person hasn't changed, I am going to treat them in a way to make sure that they don't do the same thing again. And I don't think that's totally valid. And I don't think that in any way undermines forgiveness. Because forgiveness is me letting go of what they have done to me or anybody else so that it's not affecting me any longer. I am not going to be bitter and full of resentment towards what someone's done, which is toxic to me. So forgiveness is something that benefits me, not the other person. Necessarily, it can benefit them if they know I've forgiven them and it helps them receive that forgiveness and maybe want to change as a result of it. But my forgiveness is not based on them changing. My forgiveness is based on my choice. But if they don't change, I'm not going to carry on giving them access to carry on doing the same thing. And I think this is true in marriages and all sorts of relationships where the Christian view is, well, you've got to stay within that relationship because it's marriage or whatever it might be. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to stay in an abusive situation at all, but you do need to forgive. Otherwise, you carry that onwards into any other relationship you end up in. If you don't deal with it, then, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. We need to love ourselves to be able to love others. And if we don't value and love ourselves as God loves us, and he doesn't want any harm to come with us, then we won't treat ourselves that way. We need to look after ourselves. But to do it with the right heart and the right motive, not to do it with cynicism and skepticism and, carrying sort of negative emotions to a situation, but to be real. I've forgiven that person, but they have not changed. Therefore, I'm not going to carry on letting them do what they did before. But I will give them, I'm not going to cut them off, in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, I can remove myself from the situation and still look for them to be free and for them to change, but ultimately forgiveness benefits me so that they're free from my bitterness and resentment. And hopefully they're free for God to intervene in their lives. I hand them over to God. When I forgive someone, I want God to work in their life because I still want their genuine blessing on them. And that would be for them to come into the fullness of who they are and not have to operate the way they're operating for whatever reason they are, whether they're operating out of what's been done to them and they may have not forgiven and dealt with what's happened to them. So they perpetuate the same thing over and over again. We need to make sure we don't perpetuate stuff by dealing with it in us so that we're at least free from that in our own lives. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.